some Tower of God, some God of High School recently. I need to read Haikyuu though, the rest of Haikyuu. Oh, you're 20. Okay, so you're 22. You've been dealing with it, so 5 years. So yeah, hopefully you're here for the discussion. But like, if when you've been dealing with things for a long time, your body gets better and better at dealing with pain. So one thing that we, as physical therapists or physicians or doctors help our patients understand is that sometimes pain is okay, but it just is dependent on what kind of pain you're feeling. Especially with wrist and hand related pain. The biggest gap is that, hey, a lot of doctors and physicians tell you should just not feel pain at all. But because you've been dealing with it for 5 years, the way that I like to describe it is that, let's say here to here, it takes like this much activity to actually cause your tissues. I'm gonna draw it for you. Screen, right? So I will draw this for you. This is tissue capacity. All right.
I could ask, why have you come here this afternoon?
Well, we don't care about what this is. So basically, when you are, I'm gonna turn down the music too. When you're exercising or when you're moving and doing your daily activities, there's a level where you can't go anymore. It's gonna actually harm your tissue. And then there's the level when you feel pain, right? There's this natural buffer here, right? So you do activity, 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 you feel pain. Doesn't necessarily mean you're causing tissue damage. But if you keep going, then you'll cause tissue damage, right? A good example is like if I asked you to pinch your earlobe, pinch it as hard as you can until you actually feel some pain. When you feel it, doesn't mean you necessarily damage your earlobe. There's no actual harm, but you feel pain, right? There's this buffer here because pain is about protecting you. It's not about reflecting the state of the tissues. So when you are dealing with, for you, Bram, when you deal with pain for a long time, what happens is this buffer actually increases, right? So your tissue capacity, it lowers, obviously, because you haven't been doing as much exercise. So this is not accurate. So it's probably here now. So you can handle less, right? But the buffer is here. So you feel pain a lot earlier. You can barely do anything, which means we have to reduce this. This buffer has to be reduced. We do that by exercising. And then knowing what pain you're okay with. And that is, anytime you feel achiness that's less than a 4 to 5 out of 10, it's okay. You can deal with it. But if it's sharp, that's when you stop. If pain lasts for a long time, that's when you stop. That's when you know you've done too much. And we're just gradually working up your tissue's capacity over time. And it takes roughly 4 to 6 weeks to make a change in your actual endurance. So you have to stay consistent. But you also have to be mindful of how much you're loading your wrist and hand. How much am I using my computer? If I use it 6 hours a day, I should probably scale it back to 3 hours and then do exercises. And then gradually build it up while you're doing exercises. So for going back to your question, I want to still help you understand when to use ice. If you have pain, yes, you can use it. Use it for 20 minutes on at a time, and then you take it off, and then that's it. You can cycle it several times, like 2 hours at a time. But ice is purely for pain management. It's not going to do anything to help change the state of your tissues or make it stronger. That's up to you to do your regular exercises, to do those wrist curls, right? And I posted this link earlier. Hold on. Alright, I just pinned it. There we go. Hopefully you saw the pin. But that one helps you based on where you're feeling the pain. It gives you a stretching routine and exercise routine. And there's a table that tells you what to do. So just you can try that and let me know how it helps you. We call this pain sounds, guys, this little drawing here. I hope it was easy to understand. Okay, so do you recommend the use of lumbar support? No, they're too big. And I know exactly what you're talking about. It depends, right? Because I actually talked a little bit about this in the Herman Miller video that I came out with. But let's just take a random gaming chair, right? Let's take your DX Eraser. This, I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of this, right? Because naturally, yes, there should be a slight curvature, but these are often too thick in that they push us too far forward. So we're overutilizing some of our lower back muscles, but it also keeps us leaning forward. So again, we begin to use our lower back muscles too much. I actually don't even use that. I use like a little pillow from my couch because it's not as thick, right? It's thin. Yeah, right? They built it for Nicki Minaj. You gotta have a thick old booty to use something like this. No. So, find something smaller, but that's why for the mesh type chairs that have that natural curvature built into it, those are kind of nice. You know, those are better in the sense that they will naturally conform to the S-shaped curvature of your lower back, S-shaped curvature. This being your lumbar spine, right? And then with the lumbar pillow, it actually tends to push it forward. So then there's a lot of the muscle activity here, and we feel that. And that also affects a lot of things outside of this. When we get up and do our day-to-day activities, when we lift, we tend to not use the right muscles because we're being pushed forward.